Beware the Ides of March, because it's a tale of two market dynamics. Welcome to Housing Market Update for March here in South Orange County, California. The real estate market is still in winter mode and interest rates are driving much of that malaise. But we do have a twist, so stay until the end so you can see what's going on as our market index has inverted once again. I'm Jim with the Bishop team, and this is where we dive into the real estate housing market for South Orange County. Remember to subscribe to get updates like this so that you can stay informed on what's going on here in Southern California. You can also click on the Calendly link in the description below so that we can schedule a time to talk about your specific real estate needs, help you where you need to go. So what happens when demand and supply both fall? How they relate still influences the real estate market. And then once you factor in interest rates in, we have some interesting dynamics going on. As you can see, interest rates have gone back up. They're still below the peak of almost 7.5%, but they're getting close to 7%. If you look a year ago, interest rates were almost 3% less, 2.71% lower than they are now at 6.875. So let's jump into supply, the number of homes for sale. Inventory is up about 30% compared to this time last year, but has been dropping 12 the last 14 weeks. Inventory usually goes up this time of year until this year. As you can see on the chart, usually January it goes up every single year going back over 20 years. But this year, we've actually gone down. We've never seen this before. Even last year when the market was really on fire and everything was selling really quickly, inventory still rose. We have about 640 homes for sale at the beginning of March compared to 740 at the beginning of last month and over 800 at the beginning of the year. That's a drop of 14% fewer homes just in the last month and down 20% since the beginning of the year. We are still higher than we were last year by about 30%, but down 74% from 2019. The biggest factor here is the number of homes that are coming on the market where sellers are listing their homes is down 38% compared to this time last year. And it's running about 50% lower than this time of any other year in the last 10 years. In fact, there are only 537 homes that came on the market, which is a record low number. Normally, you'd see about 1,200 homes coming on the market, not 500. Bottom line, sellers are staying put, they're handcuffed with their low interest rate, and they don't want to buy something with the higher interest rate. So they're hunkering down. The other side of that coin is demand. That's what buyers are doing in terms of writing offers on properties and getting into escrow and closing escrow. Demand did continue to increase through February until the first week of March. It went down 4 homes. So we have 648 homes in escrow at the beginning of March compared to 535 at the beginning of February, which is about a 21% increase. And again, escrows had risen every single week until this past week. Now that's something we really need to keep an eye on. If that was the peak in March, it's pretty early for the market to slow down for the year. Another measure of buyer demand can be seen at open house traffic. This past weekend, a colleague had 600 people through their open house on Saturday and Sunday. Now, that being said, we are still 32% fewer homes in escrow than we were this time last year, 2022, which was a really hot market. But we're also 38% below 2019 levels. So closed unit sales are down again in February over the prior year. This is the 18th month in a row that that's happened. So that's a longer term trend of slowing purchases in the marketplace. So through February, we're down 26% in units compared to this time last year. We're also down 17% compared to 2019. Now, if you remember in January, that gap was bigger, so we've actually closed the gap a little bit, but still trailing previous years. So what's our market index look like now? Well, for the first time since May of last year, we have inverted that market index again, which means we have more homes in escrow than for sale, higher demand than supply, less than a month's supply. It also represents the 8th week that the market has gone closer to a seller's market, 8 weeks in a row. And if you remember back in May of 2022, when we left that inverted market, as you can see on the graph, that's when prices started to slow down and eventually started to drop. But we're going the other way. So we're back to a 1-month supply, with cities like Rancho Santa Margarita and Ladera Ranch actually at half a month's supply. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have Dana Point at about 2.3 months supply. That's the high end, so very, very, very low supply. So what's all this done to pricing? Well, as the national news talks about prices crashing and values going down, we saw something different here. Remember, real estate is local. So for February, South Orange County was pretty much flat from January. As you may recall, January was up 3% from December, and then flat in February. So right now we sit about 3% below where we were at this time last year, because prices were going up pretty aggressively for the next couple of months in 2022. So we'll probably continue to see that. We are still about 7% off the peak, which was in that April-May timeframe, and up 45% from December of 2019. So before we continue, please remember to subscribe so that you get updates like this and can keep on top of the real estate market. And thank you for the support of the channel. Be sure to give it a like and a comment, ask a question, what you'd like to see covered in the future. And if you send me a text with your email address at the number in the description below, I can add you to our newsletter where you're gonna get inside information that's not even covered here, up to the minute graphs and charts so you can see pricing trends and things like that, and stay informed on not only market information but other real estate information, and stay on top of all of that. Try it out. If you don't want it, you can just unsubscribe. No harm, no foul. And now back to our program. If you notice on the graph, this shows the amount of homes in escrow. And on a typical year, you'll see a peak in March, April, May. We did have one June. Couple of Mays, couple of Marches. Right now, we hit a localized peak for 2023 in early March. So that's, like I mentioned earlier, that's something we really need to keep an eye on. If that continues, then we're gonna have a slow rest of the year. We would not be seeing much appreciation, assuming that buyer demand stays lower. Now, the one big variable that can really change things is if interest rates do drop. Once we get to about 5%, we're expecting things to get red hot again. Like I said, they went up to about 6.875, so still got a ways to go. We still have a higher gap above the 10-year treasury than we normally would. So there's extraneous things that are affecting the market, not just the normal trends. So tune in next month to see if this winter freeze finally thaws out. If you need information in the meantime about a specific home, maybe that you're living in, looking to buy, looking to sell, give us a call. That's what we're here for. Every neighborhood, every market, every season is different. That's what we're here for, to help you navigate through that, help you make the right move. I'm Jim with the Bishop team, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Properties.